Center, we truly believe that every student has purpose, gifts, and God-given talents. God-given talents. And there's always this true hour of power that I would love to spend with you all to talk about today, post-secondary counseling. Here at Divine Intervention Center, we cover a variety of topics, those being self-advocacy, post-secondary counseling, job exploration counseling, work-based learning, and workplace readiness training. So good evening, good evening, good evening. I'll be looking over here to my left, your right, at comments as you are engaging with today's lesson. It is a pleasure to be here. Again, I am Miss K. Johnson, and I am excited to be here with you all today. It's an amazing day. It's an amazing day. So maybe it's been a long day for you. Let's get our stretch on. Make sure we stretch. Make sure we stretch. All righty then. All righty then. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, let's talk about post-secondary counseling. Today, high school versus college. This is going to help you be able to know what to expect when you go from high school to college. It is as simple as it sounds, but we know that when we are transitioning, it can be a little bit tougher when trying to understand, okay, what am I going to do? What are my options? How am I going to fit? All of those types of things. So let's take a look. High school versus college. What is one thing we know about high school education? If your high school is not private, then you must not have to pay for high school. So Craigmont and Douglas, you guys are public schools. So your high school education is free. Your high school education is free. When you go to college, that is not always the case. Even when it comes to earning grants and getting scholarships, all these different types of things, it still means that you're having to pay for it some type of way. So a college education can be very expensive. Students and or their parents may go into debt to finance your college education. Can I be the first to say that, man, my college education was expensive. Miss K was able to get a plethora of scholarships at my senior year. However, those scholarships did not fully pay for 4 years of school. And the interesting thing about college is it is broken down by semesters. A semester is about 4 months out of the year. So you have, is it 4 months? It may be a little bit more. So from August up until like December, that may be way more than 4 months. So you have August, September, October, November, December. So about 5 months or 4.5 months. So what I'm saying is that your money when you're paying for college has to be broken up over those long periods of time. One school year is from about 2020 to 2021. But you might also have to go to summer school. And so figuring out a way that you're going to be able to finance your college education, if that is what you're interested in, is going to be something tough. It's going to be something that we have to put on our things of to do. We have to get into it. And yes, Miss K has went into debt paying for her college education. Because I ran out of money and I had to stay an extra semester, I was trying to figure out how am I going to pay for this education. So And education for sure is going to be in college expensive. Expensive. But a high school education may be free. Let's change the color on that. All right. What is another difference between college and high school? High school is mandatory. High school is mandatory. You have to go. And college is voluntary, meaning you don't have to go there if you don't want to. If you choose not to go to college, then you don't have to go to college. That's your personal choice. But you must attend high school. In the state of Tennessee, I think all over the United States, you must attend high school. Students can be forced to attend high school until a certain age. So you don't always have to go to high school your entire year or all 4 years, because at a certain age, you get to make decisions for yourself. That's why some people drop out of high school. That's their decision. And sometimes maybe you feel like you're forced to go to high school. Maybe somebody is forcing you to be in high school. The laws are forcing you to go, and maybe even your parents or guardian is forcing you to be in high school. But for college, you choose to attend or not attend. You choose that. That's your choice. Isn't it always good to know that you have a choice and it is your decision about your life? You get to have a certain level of control of the decisions you make. High school graduation requirements are similar for all students. When we talk about graduation requirements, that means usually across the board in the whole entire high school, you have to complete certain subjects. You have to have a certain, curriculum. So everybody has to take, a literature class. Everybody has to take a science class. Everybody has to take a math class. Everybody has to take these certain classes. That is just the bottom line. Those are the requirements. However, for college, graduation requirements are complex, which means they can be more interchangeable. It's not just all the same. Everything is different for everybody. And it can differ by the year of when you enter college and your major. So if I am a music major and you are an architect major, our requirements for graduating college are going to be super different. So let me tell you a story. I went to high school and pretty much all of my school years with certain people. And let's talk about 2 or 3 of them. One girl I know, we all graduated in 2000, whatever year that was. I'm not going to reveal that year, okay? However, after we graduated, most of us, the three people that I'm talking about, we all went to the same college. We all went to the University of Memphis. We all attended the University of Memphis. We all attended and we enrolled at in the same year. However, the major difference between us was our interests and our passions. I went to school for health. And then I also tacked on a minor in nonprofit management. You see, the other girl, she went to school for, science as well. And I think she went for biology. I'm not sure what she's graduating with this year, but the thing is about college, you are able to change your mind if that's not what you want to do, because college is not forced upon you. It's a choice. But see, I graduated in 2019 from college in the fall. This young lady didn't graduate until this year. And I really had to stay an extra semester. So that's a story on how your requirements for your graduation is going to be different from your peers. Another guy, his major was different from mine. He went to pursue engineering. And engineering usually has about a guarantee that you're going to be in college for at least 5 to 6 years. So he's still in college until this day, and I've already graduated. Although we all went to high school together and we all graduated high school at the same time on the same day in the same year, we all have been on different paths because our college requirements were different. Other people choose to just like they choose to drop out of high school, they drop out of college. That's their personal choice, because at a certain point, you are able to make decisions for yourself, whether they are the best decisions or the worst decisions. You make the decision and you live with that decision. So I hope that you are making great decisions for yourself, because you're going to want to make sure you're doing that. Now, it's not to say that we don't make bad decisions sometimes or make mistakes, because we all do. That's a part of life. In high school, students are not responsible for knowing what classes to take. You're not responsible for it, because all of the requirements for everybody is the same. You don't have to know, oh my goodness, I need to take this class in order to graduate. You're not responsible for that. You're responsible for showing up, having your supplies, and getting the grades that you need to progress to the next grade level. But see, here on the other hand, in college, students are responsible for knowing and meeting the requirements for graduation in college. So you are responsible for knowing the classes that you need to take in order to graduate. You are responsible for this. You are responsible for knowing that you need this many hours for this many classes, or this many classes in this block as a college, what's the word I'm looking for? As a collegiate student. So in that case, if you have to know all of the requirements that it is for your graduation for you to be successful, then you also have to meet those requirements in order to graduate. The longer that you take time on not meeting those requirements, the longer you take time to graduate and the more expensive it becomes. So we want to make sure that we know the difference between high school and college. This is just a general overview. So in high school is a teaching environment, meaning teachers are going to come and help you. They're going to be more hands-on. They're going to make sure that you have the information. They're going to be hands-on even with your homework. But in college is a learning environment. You have to want to learn. You have to want to be a part of the environment. You have to want to make a good grade, a passing grade on the test, on the homework, all of that. Hey, how you doing? College is a learning environment versus high school is a teaching environment. So that is the biggest difference. Sometimes people go from high school to college and they are super shocked because it's like, oh my goodness, I actually have to wake myself up for class. I actually have to make sure I'm making all the requirements that I need for class. And this is a big shock because literally you're used to your teachers being responsible for making sure you learn the facts and you learn the skills that they are teaching. So the difference between with saying that the difference between college and high school teachers are responsible for making sure you as a student learn the facts and skills they are teaching. So all of the blame, so to speak, is on the teacher and not the student. However, we can say there is a level of responsibility that you should take on as a student. As a student, you should want to make the better grades. You should want to show up to your classes. You should want to be the best student that you can be so that you can progress and be successful. Our goal is to be successful here. But the teachers are responsible for making sure you as the student learn the facts and skills as they are teaching. Now, here is the difference between college. Students are responsible for making sure they understand the ideas the professors are presenting. Do you see these words that we are using? So is it safe to say that high school is more about like, these are the facts and this is what you must learn, this is what you must know? Versus college is more about, this is the idea that the professor is putting out. And you have to understand it and maybe even disagree, but you have to have details and explanations of why your idea does not, fully line up with that of the professors. Here's the biggest thing I think about that students probably face coming from a high school to a college. Now, there are some things that are just what they are. There's really not too much argument about it until you get into your philosophy classes and et cetera, et cetera. But I think one of the biggest things, or one of the most difficult things high school students struggle with from college, because even myself, is understanding that this professor may not be completely right. And you can argue that in a more professional way, in a more, let's say, tactical way, as far as presenting ideas and research to back up your argument. That's what college people want you to do. They want you to back up your argument with research, facts, and not just emotions and feelings from all this stuff that you just feel. So remember, teachers are responsible for helping you learn the facts and skills that they are teaching in high school. But in college, you are responsible for understanding the ideas that the professors are presenting. So right now, I'm teaching you nothing but hard code facts. So I'm responsible for letting you know this. Now, when you transition to college, you're going to be responsible for knowing these things. All right, another difference between high school and college. High school, you have accommodations that are granted by a student's IEP. And these are designed to ensure you have success in your class, in your high school class. You have accommodations already granted by your student, by your IEP. And this is designed, the IEP and these accommodations are designed to ensure that you are successful in your class. So it's designed for you to meet all those requirements that we talked about, which there really aren't. What we say though about that, every student in high school just about has the same similar, requirements to graduate. So, however, in college, your accommodations are granted by disability support services. And these are designed to ensure that a student has equal access to a college education, but do not guarantee your success. Do you see the biggest difference with that? That would mean that you as a student would have to go to the Disabilities Support Services office and tell them, I am a student who needs disability support. This is also how you kind of advocate for yourself, because also your parents have limited access to your information. You have to become an adult. And so the biggest thing about this one is high school, that accommodation with your IEP, that are designed to make sure that you have your success. However, in college, you can go to the disability support services, and it just matters that they give you the equal, meaning you have the same amount of equality or access as students who are not going to visit this office. The equal access to the whole college education. But this equal access does not mean that you are guaranteed success in your college tenure. So understand that and know that. If you have any questions, please drop those questions in the comment box, because I am here to answer your questions and clear up anything, anything that you want to know. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute to type those questions if you need to. Give you a second. All right, let's move on to the next differences. High school versus college. High school, when you cheat or you plagiarize, it's commonly viewed as it's not a big deal. So I'm pretty sure you guys know what cheating is. When you cheat off of somebody's paper, you're over there looking at somebody's quiz or test, and you're copying off you're basically writing exactly what they're writing on their paper. You know, high schools may just get over that. They might say, oh, it's not a big deal. Colleges? Shoot, no, that is not the case. Professors and administrators take academic dishonesty very seriously. Plagiarism is when you are using someone else's work as your own, and you're claiming it as your own, somebody else's literary work. When I say literary work, that means if I, Miss K, was to write a poem or an essay or a research paper, and you copied my research paper or my essay or my poem word for word without giving me any credit in that research paper, poem, or essay, then you, my dear, would be probably punished by professors and or administrators in your college. They can put you on academic probation. They can put you on academic suspension. So you want to be very careful when you are cheating or plagiarizing in college. This is something that they want you to work independently on so that you can get success. And I'm not saying by any means don't have study groups of all of that, but make sure when it's time to perform on a test or a quiz or a research paper that it's your work, that you know the information for yourself. Nobody has to be compromised. You know the information for yourself, because they take academic dishonesty very seriously. And there are always consequences that follow. We're going to talk about those a little bit more. I already kind of covered it a little bit, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more. See, in high school, consequences for your academic dishonesty, they are probably usually minor. they don't really do too much of anything to you, or, consequences or whatever. They just may, maybe give you a 0, or I don't know, tell you to do the paperwork over again. But in college, I can say in my high school years, we worked a lot together, and I didn't really, I was still learning what plagiarism was, and all these different terms. It was new to me. So I guess so the different level is like you're learning about these things. And so high schools have more grace with you, because usually in college you're actually pursuing a profession, and they want you to know that you need to have original work. However, so if you get caught in college, students caught cheating or plagiarizing may fail the assignment and the course. So not only do you get a 0 on that specific one assignment or 2 assignments, how many ever times you cheated or plagiarized, you might also fail the entire course, the entire class. They might just say, you know what? We're not going to take it. We're not going to deal with this. You can't be in this class anymore. And they'll just fail you. You might also even, like I said, face consequences such as probation, academic probation, academic suspension, or academic expulsion. So when I mean these different words, let's break these different words down from what Miss K knows. Probation just means, let's say, hey, all right, we're going to put you on academic probation. You probably have 90 days or until the end of the semester to get your grades up. At this certain point, you have to do certain things. You might have to check in. That's kind of a probationary period where they're watching you very closely to make sure you don't do that again. Otherwise, they might do academic suspension. You might not be able to take that class until the next semester or the next year. You're suspended for a certain amount of time. Or academic expulsion. They may expel you and say, hey, you can't take this. You cannot be here at this school at all. So there are different consequences for not having an original work being done by you, with your own thoughts, with your own research, with your own effort. There will be definitely consequences. Make sure you're jotting these types of things down in your notebooks with your pencil and paper. I understand that high school and college can be so totally different, but that is the reason why we are going over it today. I want you to understand and know exactly just a general overview of the high school life versus the, post-secondary college life. High school students are usually told what to do. You are monitored to ensure that you do it, and you are frequently given feedback on how you're performing. So what that looks like, I'm going to stand up here. What that looks like is I'm going to tell you what to do. And I'm going to monitor that. So I'm going to watch over you. That's what that means. I'm going to watch over you. Make sure that you do it. I want to make sure that you do what I told you to do. And I'm going to also have a dialogue with you and give you feedback. Okay, I feel like this and this. I see this. And you're going to listen to me and actually continue to perform the task. In college, let me tell you this. You are expected to take full responsibility for finding out what to do and how to do it. That looks like if you have a paper that's due, an essay or a book assignment. If you have that responsibility, the responsibility is you going to the library and finding out, okay, how am I supposed to do this? Or you going to a tutor and getting an understanding, or maybe even having a conversation with the professor to understand better. You guys, this means you have to take initiative. You have to take initiative in your own education at college. College sounds amazing. College sounds fun, but college does have a responsibility and it can be expensive. So when you don't take full responsibility for finding out what you need to do and how to do it, you're gonna be spending more money on your college education, taking more money out of your Hope Scholarship, your Pell Grant, and all of those types of things. You also are taking responsibility for accomplishing whatever task you have to do. It's your responsibility to take it over, take the task over and accomplish it. When I say accomplish, I mean success, have success with the task. And it also means if things go right or do not go right, that you are accepting, you have the responsibility of accepting any consequences that come with the decisions that you have made as a student. That's what college is about. College is about becoming a more responsible, more conscious and aware adult. That's the word I want to use. College is about becoming more aware of your habits, good habits, bad habits, and making it your decision to succeed and take responsibility on your success. Your success is depending upon you. Your success is depending upon your decisions that you make every day or the decisions you do not make, because we understand that the decisions we do make are just as heavy and as important as the decisions we do not make. They both matter. They both, in one or the other hand, matter the same. So we have to know that. All right? So let's continue to talk about it. I'm going to show you a worksheet that I have for you. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. All right. Can you all see that really good? Thanks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Is that bigger? So what does this mean for you? Consider the differences between high school and college. Consider the differences. As we listen to these different questions below, I want you to answer me and enter your answers for each question in the corresponding columns for high school and college. So the first question is, how much are students required to pay per year in high school? What did we say the difference between high school and college was? High school is free. Now you may have different, not recreational, but extra curricular activities that you were doing in high school that caused for you to pay for some money, or maybe a school fee for some type of prom or something like that, school fees, which probably won't range you for more than $10 to $15 sometimes. If that's more, that's just probably based on your school and what you're actually raising money for or saving money for, whatever the case may be. So the answer to that is students in the public school are entitled to a free and appropriate public education. School fees each year are minimal, very, 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 very minimal. May range no lesser or larger than maybe $10 to $15. The next question is, what courses, when it comes to high school, what courses are required for you to graduate from high school on a college preparatory track? Right? That answer to that is, students can be given a copy of the NC High School Plan of Study for different graduation options, along with any information specific to the school. So inquire and ask your teachers, or maybe I can ask my director on this high school plan of study. You want to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you just end up anywhere. The next question is, what happens if I do not understand something in high school? What did I tell you? Teachers are responsible for making sure you guys know the information. So in high school, teachers, they monitor you and they know fairly quickly if a student does not understand a concept or needs extra support. If a teacher is monitoring you and getting to know you, they know maybe how quick you learn things, then they'll see you're not probably understanding something and they'll offer more support. They'll offer more resources in order to help you. Teachers often provide direct support and deliberately work it into a student's learning schedule. So it's really kind of up to the teacher how they want to do that. But I always say still self-advocacy. Let somebody know that you are struggling with understanding the information that is being put out to you. Another question under high school. What accommodations do I receive in high school for my academic work? Remember those accommodations we talked about? The IEP is designed for your success. So this would depend on your IEP as a personal individual student. These these IEPs, they are varied along a wide range. If a student is unaware, if you are unaware or unable to articulate what is on your IEP in terms of accommodations and modifications, this would be an indicator to begin helping the student understand his or your, if you're a young lady or a young man, your learning needs and how to self-advocate for the necessary accommodation. Here it goes again, self-advocacy. If you're unable to communicate your needs or wants, the teacher is going to step in and help you understand what's going on and how to communicate this. Self-advocacy. What happens in high school when students are caught plagiarizing? We said that. It's not taken as seriously as it is in college. But schools may have different policies on it. So in some situations, students are alerted to the fact that they have plagiarized and are asked to redo that portion of the assignment. Each school will handle this very differently. So often, it will go back to the teachers because remember, the teachers are responsible. So how often do teachers and parents provide reminders about upcoming assignments in high school? It can be specific to each high school, but often students are provided with daily reminders about upcoming assignments with teachers, monitoring planners, and assignment sheets. So really in high school, you guys are coasting. So how much might your students pay for a year of in-state academic expenses at a 4-year college university in North Carolina? So if you were from North Carolina and you were going to college in North Carolina, that means that you have in-state academic expenses, tuition. And let's just break it down. The cost can vary from college to college, from state to state. But just to speak about North Carolina, some sample costs, at one of the more expensive schools, which is about $5,868 for your tuition and fees. Your housing might cost $4,650. Your books might cost $700. And you're approximately going to spend about more than $11,200 per year. Let's add up $11,200 per year for 4 years. Let's say you go to school for 4 years. That's $44,800. Let's do, if you were an engineer, let's do 6 years. That's $67,200. So you're gonna need some money. You see how expensive college can get the longer you stay? Next question. How much might students pay for a year of academic expenses in a North Carolina community college? This is different from a four-year college. That was a four-year college. A community college, it can be different. It changes periodically, especially in different states. But an example of tuition charge at the time of the development of this material was a maximum of $1,104 per semester for full-time in-state students. So if you're full-time, 12 hours or more, and you're in-state, you are going to pay about $1,104 per semester. So let's say you go to school for 8 semesters, and you're paying $1,104 times 8. That is going to add up to $8,832. What courses will be required for you to graduate from college in the major of your choice? Majors, it's different for every major. Your requirements are. But students can generally access a college plan of study for the major of their choice online via a website. College plans of study will each contain a maximum of 128 required semester hours for completion. So there's 128 hours max that you need. However, many students will go beyond this in college, especially if they are unsure of the major they wish to select going in, or if they transfer from a different setting. So you can increase your hours if you change your major over and over again, or if you decide to transfer from one school to the next. What happens if you do not understand something in college? In college, students are entirely responsible for monitoring their own understanding and seeking help when you need it. There are often many resources on a university campus for extra support. Like I told you, tutors, academic advisors, tutor centers, labs, counseling centers, instructions, online resources. And many of these resources are underutilized. It is entirely up to the student to seek and utilize these resources. It's up to you to use these things that they have available. They're not going to pressure you into doing it. You got to want it and do it for yourself. What accommodations do I expect to receive in college for my academic work? Well, an IEP does not carry over to the university setting. Students are responsible for taking their testing information to the Office of Disability Support Services on the university campus. And if they are eligible for services, you register to receive accommodations as appropriate. But these vary by student depending on the type of disability. So go to the Office of Disability Support Services to make sure that you can have equal access to your college education, if that is your plan. What happens to you or me in college when we are plagiarizing? In the university setting, students are expected to be aware of the definitions and consequences of plagiarism. You guys, I cannot tell you how many times I heard the plagiarism talk from my teachers and professors. In the university setting, students are exposed to be aware of the definitions and consequences of plagiarism. Instructors can respond to plagiarism in tons of different ways. Students could be assigned a failing grade for the project, which may result in a failing grade for the class or the course. The University Academic Integrity Board will also establish additional consequences that can ultimately result in suspension from the university if patterns of violation continue. So we have to be careful when we're out there, wanting to be our greatest, and but we have to be careful with these types of things, you guys. So how often can you expect to receive reminders about upcoming assignments in college? Truthfully, depending on the type of student you are, if you're attentive and all these types of things that teachers like and professors like, they are easier to talk to. They might help you out. They might help the class out. But really though, the responsibility is yours. In the university setting, students receive a syllabus on the first day of class. A syllabus is basically a document that allows you to know every assignment due date or every quiz date, everything you need to know on that piece of paper. And if anything changes, usually the teacher, the professor, or the instructor will let you know. If the syllabus contains information about assignments and due dates, and students may not be reminded throughout the entire semester about these due dates, they're going to tell you, look at your syllabus. Students, you are expected to take responsibility for your time management, for your short-term planning, and your long-term planning. It is your job to do what you need to do in order to have success where you want to have success. So that is our post-secondary lesson for